Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm making this video showing the difference in using Tensorflow in different PCs and different OSs. But before we start, I want you guys to be sure that I'm not a professional. I'm totally new to this field. This is a very simple test and these are also very personal opinions. Anyway, I hope that some of you may find it useful watching this video. I'd be very happy to know that. Without further ado, let's start. So what types of environment and which test are we going to run today? To be clear, I'm using a desktop with motherboard Gigabyte Z77, CPU Intel Core i5-3570, 16 gigs of DDR3 1600 MHz and GTX 1070. On this machine, I'm triple booting Windows 10 version 18.03, Ubuntu 16.04.5 LTS, and the macOS High Sierra 10.13.6. Alongside with that, I'm also using a Toshiba Portage R930 with CPU Core i5-3340M, 8 gigs of DDR3 1600 MHz on which I'm dual booting Windows 10 version 18.03 and Manjaro KDE 18.0. If you ever wonder how I run these tests, this is simply how it was done. Open up a terminal or command prompt in Windows, then activate your virtual environment if you're using some. Mine is VNV. Then boot up your Jupyter notebook. Once that's done, go to your preferred folder. Mine is Document Tensorflow. Create a new Python 3 notebook. Then simply go to tensorflow.org, copy the code from Get Started, then run it on your machine. It's easy as that. If you run this for the first time, maybe it will have to download the MNIST dataset. Mine is been run for several times, so it doesn't have to. And eventually it will run. Well, it might take a while, so I will skip this part. Now I will get you guys through all the results from the worst to the best. As you might guess, the worst is Windows 10 running on my laptop. The training process runs through 5 epochs and each of them took me roughly 20 seconds. This is probably acceptable for small datasets and for beginners like me. Next, ranked 6 out of 7 is Windows 10 running on my desktop. Wait, what? Why not Manjaro running on 2-core CPU laptop, but Windows 10 running on a full 4-core CPU desktop with even higher clock speed? Yes, my friends, it really shocked me that Windows 10 performs really poorly with TensorFlow, averagely 13 seconds for each epoch. Okay, next is Manjaro laptop, beating my Windows 10 desktop by 2 seconds per each epoch. Ranked 4 is my macOS High Sierra Hackintosh. I don't know if it performs more poorly than a real Mac, but eventually it gives my Windows 10 a huge punch, averagely only 8 seconds per epoch. Remember, this is CPU only. And next is the king of TensorFlow CPU, Ubuntu, which is just a bit better than macOS, approximately 7 seconds for each epoch. That's all for the CPU only version of TensorFlow. Now let's look at the result for running TensorFlow with CUDA support. The Windows version has been so much better with support for my GTX 1070. I would have been really mad if it loses to any CPU version I mentioned above. So we got 6 second average for every epoch except for the first one to 90 seconds. I don't know what was going on. I guess the machine had problems starting working with the GPU. Anyway, after the first very hard start, things seemed to be normal. And finally the king, Ubuntu. Slow at first epoch like Windows, but so much faster, with only 15 seconds for the first start and 5 second average for every epoch ever since. I think with all that, you guys have already had your own answer to which is the best environment to work with TensorFlow. Without a doubt, that is Linux in general or specifically Ubuntu, with or without GPU support. Anyway, that's all I want to tell you today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.